In the wake of the 2018 state election, MPs quizzed the Liberals on their cash splash around the state.
If you wanted to think about any more desperate attempts to get this government elected, these are exactly the sort of examples.
There's $7,000 here, $10,000 there.
$20 million was promised to small community groups, like sporting clubs, churches and museums.
I find it quite extraordinary that those opposite are now criticising and complaining that we're using money to support local community-run organisations.
3 years and another state election later, the ABC can reveal the 2018 campaign was investigated by police. While there was no evidence of criminal offences, the state's Integrity Commission launched its own top-secret inquiry in 2019 to look into potential misconduct.
The Liberal Party election strategy was to provide small grants to lots of individual community organisations or groups to win favour.
At this last election, at that election and the one before that and those others that I've stood in, we would receive feedback from the community, then we would make judgments in terms of what the most appropriate policies were to take to the Tasmanian people.
176 policies were sent to Treasury for costing during the 2014 election. By 2018, that number had risen to more than 400. The majority came from the Liberal Party, and many of the policies were one-off payments to community groups.
A lot of these community groups were telling candidates that they hadn't even asked for these grants. They hadn't asked for funding, but obviously it had been offered to them and they were willing to accept it.
Governments can make the mistake of using grant programs to pork barrel in ways that are both inappropriate and potentially very damaging and border on electoral bribery.
The Integrity Commission dropped the investigation, known as Operation Hyperion, in April, 2 years after it was initiated. In a statement, the Chief Commissioner said that was because of issues raised by some people interviewed as part of the inquiry after they received a draft report, which found no evidence of misconduct. Rebecca White says it wasn't her side of politics that tried to have the investigation stopped.
It became clear that lawyers had been engaged by the Liberal Party and lawyers had subsequently been engaged by the Integrity Commission to try and resolve whether or not the terms of reference gave the Integrity Commission the scope to continue this investigation.
They've indicated that there was no misconduct, that the investigation is not ongoing, and as I've said, they've requested confidentiality and I'm prepared to provide that to them.
A past victory causing a present headache. Emily Baker, ABC News.